Hey everybody, welcome back to Veteranbassin. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, and comment on anything else that you would like to see. I'm sitting here in the man cave right now, trying to figure out how I want to organize this to be a little bit better. I got baits not situated like I wanted to, but you can see my rods and baits behind me. As you can see, yes, I am a supporter of Guggen, which, I think they're a pretty good bait, you know what I'm saying? I served in the military. Some of the guys served in the military. I'm going to support them. But while I was in here trying to figure that out, I was trying to think of, well, the month of March is coming. The month of March is coming. There going to be some baits that's going to play a key role into catching fish going into the spawn. But about the spawn, the fish are beginning to feed up. The days are starting to get longer. They're starting to get warmer. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be more of a bait fish and crawfish kind of deal as they feed up to get fat so they can go do what they do with the spawn. So we're going to kick things off and start off with a crankbait, a lipless crankbait at that. Over those flats, a lipless crankbait works pretty good. The grass is starting to grow back in. You can take the top of those grass. You can hop it. As a matter of fact, right about now, on those secondary points leading back to the pockets, and also at the main lake point, because if you know, the smaller males, they move up first. The females are a little bit afterwards. They come in behind the males. So, quick tip for you. That if you are fishing a certain area and all of you are catching are the smaller fish, drop back a couple of points and you should find the females because they're coming in a little bit later. But there are two ways to fish this bait. You can burn it across the top of the grass, or you can slow down with it and yo-yo it off the ground. And yo-yoing it probably would be the better of the two right now, considering the fact there is no grass really talking about it. It hasn't really grown in yet. So that's my first bait. My second bait is a square bill. Square bill. Square bill up on those points, those rocky points. Good one on the rip wrap. Good one if your bank has any of those, rock, pea gravel, edges, so forth, so on. Stumps, very good, you can bang it off the stumps. You can run it through any of that stuff. But it's got a nice wobble, resembling a bait fish. Also, red still plays a big part in spring fishing. Some kind of craw color, like a ghost craw, any kind of color, resembling red that's got fluorescent, because if you know, with spring comes with a lot of rain, and the rain will wash out and muddy up muddy up your bank or your fishing spots. Kitty Poo playing with the darn the baby fishing rod. But your water will get muddy because of all the new rain coming in. It washes out bright red. I don't know why it works. I have a theory, because it looks kind of like craw color. Crayfish or crawfish, however you want to call it, it's red. So that's my theory of why it works in the spring. Next on the list would be the chatterbait. Chatterbait, on a good windy day when there's a lot of chop, again, over the top of wood, in the cuts of the grass pockets, which, they're starting to come in, but they're not in yet. But you can, on your graph, you can see them growing. But a chatterbait. Chatterbait is just one of them fish catchers that, it produces big fish, but, it also will catch the smaller ones also. But if you can look, you have the fire, that red for that fire craw. I got it paired up with a fluke. But the chatterbait is a staple in spring fishing. The next bait, what can I say? It is a oldie but goldie. The thing just straight up catches fish. We have here the War Eagle. Because the water will get stained and muddy because of the springtime, this plays a perfect, it puts off a flash. Now these have 2 willow blades on them. You might want to go with something of a Colorado blade, painted blade, you know what I'm saying, preferably, but a Colorado will work just fine because you want a gold blade, which this is what this is. This just allows me to move it a little faster with a willow blade. Colorado blade will actually help you to slow down. It gives you that little thump, make the fish find it a little bit easier. Now, if the water is clear, you want to go with, you know what I'm saying, more natural color, kind of like a bait fish profile, if you can find clear water. But in all actuality, I only fish 2 colors when it comes to my spinnerbaits. I fish a white or a white and chartreuse kind of a color. That's the only thing that I fish. I do change out my blades. The blades, you know what I'm saying, depending on how much chop is on the water or how much stain is in the water, I would go with a silver blade or a gold. If I want to speed up, use straight willow. If I want to slow down, Colorado. And then there are going to be times where you need to slow down, especially if you find rock again, which I love it, but you could also use it on wood also, and that is a jig. This is the Juicy Jig by Guggen Baits. I find that they work pretty daggum good, especially paired up with some kind of crawl or beaver trailer, and bumping this thing down a rocky point or bumping up against logs or laydowns, and fish just come unglued for it. Your color selection, I would go with a black and blue, especially if it's water stained, red of course. And then if it clears up, you could go more that PB&J and your green pumpkins. So put that into your arsenal. I gave you 5 right there, but I'm gonna give you 2 more. I know y'all ain't got a chance to see me because I haven't really been fishing, like talking about it, but some sort of swim bait. This is the Glide Bait by Savage Gear. There's two forms of swim bait. You could go with the soft plastic one, or you could go with the hard bait. With the Glide Bait, as far as the hard bait, you could do more with it than with a soft plastic. But the soft plastic is mainly just a chuck and wind. You just reel it in. With the hard plastic though, you can impart a little bit more action where you give those rod bumps, you know what I'm saying, just 2 little bumps, and it'll shoot out a little bit further than the normal S type of swim that it has. So when it comes to large bait, if you're looking for the real big females, remember, drop back a couple of points. Fish you a glide bait or a swim bait, and you'll come away with some of those big girls. Now, that being said, you might not get as many bites with these, but the bites that you will get will be quality bites. And last but not least, this thing still plays a part. I ain't got this one fully hooked up yet, but it still plays a part in springtime fishing right now. I know that a lot of y'all were fishing this in the winter, if you have them, but you know, a A lot of you were fishing them in the wintertime. Coming into the spring, all the way up to the spawn, this will pretty much work. So you got this month to still fish your A-rig. You still got this month. This is the Guggen A-rig. I have some from Strike King or Yum. I'm sorry. Yum. I forgot what it was called. But I do have other ones. So y'all don't think that I'm just all Guggen. I do have other baits that I do fish. The last but not least is going to be a jerk bait. Either you could do a fluke, soft plastic jerk bait, or a suspended jerk bait. Right about now, either one, it would probably be a good idea because, well, with the fluke you can get aggressive, but you can also get aggressive with the suspended jerk bait. The only difference is that the fluke will sink, whereas the suspended jerk bait will actually hover for a little while. And if the fish are suspended, I would go more with the suspended jerk bait. But if they're closer to the bottom, I would go more with the fluke. I would let it fall to the bottom, let it sit for a second, and then begin my retrieve. Now, if they're up to the top of the water, I would go with the fluke again. So basically, if they're just mid-column, I would go with the suspended jerk bait. But if they're in the top of the column or sitting on the bottom, then I go with the fluke. But guys, those are my top 5 for the month of March. I hope you enjoyed the channel. I hope I didn't bore you too much. If you like the video, don't forget to subscribe, like the channel because it helps a lot. And I'll see you guys out there on the water after this wind stops because it's been brutal, as you've seen in my last few videos. That wind been going on hard body for a minute. But with that being said, I'll holler at you guys.